About Kentucky's history with bourbon, right? But you may not know that this is one of the few places in America that has an indigenous beer.
It's really interesting here. In fact, out of all of the beer on the market right now, the Kentucky Common is one of just a handful with pre-prohibition roots. WHAS 11's Jim Stratman tells us about the Commonwealth's brew.
Flashback in time, nearly 200 years ago. Louisville, Kentucky, a beer city with Kentucky Common on tap.
German brewers came to Louisville. This style is created in Louisville, Kentucky.
It's one of the few American-made, American original beer styles.
Ironically, the Kentucky Common is a beer you've probably never heard of. But Leah Denis at Apocalypse Brewwork has. In fact, she helped write the book on it.
The German brewers created it with the water in mind because we have a lot of calcium in our water. Our water's kind of hard here, which makes really good beer. At one point, there were over 100 breweries in Louisville. Like every corner had a little mom and pop, little brewery in the back, and I think that's where some of the sour came from because not everybody was Ertles, who was making 325 barrels a day.
Ertles was one of the major producers of beer before Prohibition here in Kentucky, and the most common beer was the Kentucky Common.
It's a dark cream ale. Yeah, it's made for the masses. It's inexpensive to make. It's highly drinkable. It's got a little bit of a caramel flavor, a little bit of dryness in the finish, which makes it ultimately very drinkable. Prohibition killed the style, and then after Prohibition, lighter beer styles came into popularity. So this beer just faded off into obscurity for about 75 years.
With the rise of craft brewing in the last 30 to 40 years, plenty of styles that went extinct during Prohibition have made a big comeback, and in a stronger way than Kentucky Common. But a Richmond, Kentucky native is keeping that tradition on tap.
I'm a Kentucky boy. I was born here in Richmond, raised here in Richmond, love the Commonwealth, and once I heard the history of that beer, it just really grabbed me.
Charlie Hamilton owns Dreaming Creek Brewery, which is known for its Kentucky Common.
That's our flagship beer. There's nothing super special about it on a level. It's just a good beer. It's a little bit more flavorful than a light beer, but it's not an IPA. I mean, it really is just a working man's beer, but it's so good.
Hamilton worked with Denis to perfect the recipe, trying to keep it as close to the original recipe brewed at Ertles as possible.
I'm a nostalgic person, so to try to bring something to the people that everybody drank 100 years ago is pretty cool to me.
Both Hamilton and Denis hope the common will become more common as time goes on. But for now, Hamilton says the common is what he likes to drink. And at the end of the day, drinking what you like is what's most important.
It's what I would call my island beer. People say if you were stuck on an island, you could only drink one more beer the rest of your life. What would it be? It'd be our Kentucky Common. That's not an arrogance thing. I really love that beer.
Reporting in Louisville, Jim Stratman, WHAS 11, on your side.
It really is such an interesting piece of history, and we talked about this last week, but over the weekend the Kentucky Guild of Brewers had Craft Bash featuring like 50 different breweries, 150 different kinds of beer, so clearly there's some interest there.
There's a lot of and then obviously we've got our bourbon culture, and a lot of people don't realize that brandy predates bourbon here in the state of Kentucky, so I think just in general, alcohol, spirits, and alcohol in general, Sam, is something that we're quite good at.